Hey card fighters, Vanguard Ace here with the deck profile for Bastion. So let's go ahead and dig right into our ride line. So we've got our usual starter, Knight of Heavenly Bows base, same starter skill as all the other starters. So we're going to move on, we're going to ride the Vanguard to grade 1. So Knight of Heavenly Sword Fort, when rode upon by rooks, this guy over here. So when he's rode upon by rooks, cost, reveal 2 grade 3 cards from your hand, reveal a top card of your deck, and call it to rearguard circle if it's a unit, put it to drop if it isn't. So you're losing any orders that you might get, but you're calling just about anything, which everything else other than an order in your deck is a unit. So you can call just about anything from another grade 3 or a trigger. So yeah, unfortunately you can't get triggers. Hurts sometimes, but it's still an extra plus, and you're not really giving anything away or just telling your opponent you have 2 grade 3s in your hand. Moving on, Knight of Heavenly Spear Rooks. When this unit is rode upon by Apex Ruler Bastion, this dude over here, you would reveal 3 grade 3s and draw a card. So that's an instant plus. You're just revealing 3 grade 3s, which since you're on a grade 3 turn by time that you're playing this ability, you're probably just going to drop them on the field anyway, so you're not really revealing too much to your opponent. And if your opponent sees this ride line, they know you have grade 3s in hand because they're just expecting to get grade 3s from Bastion. So here's our boss monster, Apex Ruler Bastion. And what he does is during your turn, all of your grade 3 units get power plus 2k. Kind of small, but you know, that's an extra 6k in your front row, and it could be an extra 6k in the back row too, for a total of 12k total. That being said, it just depends on what your field looks like and your setup, seeing if your grade 3s can boost or not, and we'll get to that later. So his other ability though is auto on Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, at the end of a battle that your drive check revealed a grade 3, cost, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, and it gets power plus 10k until end of turn. So basically you reveal a grade 3 from your drive check and you get to restand something for a discard. Really not that bad. It also gets 10k, so any triggers that might have happened on your opponent's side, it can kind of go over those or match those. So it's really cool with that extra power. But you're probably wondering, how do we reveal all these grade 3s? Well, let's look at the meat of the deck. Well, let's look at that. Grade 3, 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 grade 3. So ultimately, the Morikawa deck is what this is. So I'm just going to start real quick down here. Our only grade 1 in the main deck, and 0 grade 2s in the main deck. Everything else is grade 3s. And the only grade 1 is our PG, and it is going to be our Aegis Mare, because we want the ability that if our hand goes low, that we can just free PG. You know, it's very situational, but it does come in clutch when you need it. That being said, let's move on to... So we got 3 copies of Bastion, and the main reason we've got 3 copies of Bastion is for our Persona ride. That's about it. He is a 15k beater when you have another Bastion on the circle, but honestly, that's all you want him for. It's your Persona ride and the fact that he's a grade 3 on your drive check. Moving on to what we actually want to play on the field. So Grand Heavenly Sword Alden. So when this one is placed on rearguard circle, counterblast 2, soul blast 1, choose a card from your hand, call it to rearguard circle. If you called a grade 3, draw 2 cards. So this seems expensive on paper, but you are drawing 2 cards out of this, and on top of that you're calling a grade 3. And the reason why this is kind of important that you can call a grade 3 from this is that, say you pulled this guy out of Fort's ability, so you're on grade 2 because you rode rooks, you reveal 2 grade 3s, and then this guy's off the top of your deck, and then you have any other grade 3 in hand, you use his skill, Counterblast 2, assuming you have the Counterblast. You might not. It's really going to be very situational for that to happen. but you get to call grade 3, so you have another grade 3 on the field, and then you're swinging with two 13Ks against their grade 1 or their grade 2, and you got that value. Very situational. There's only 4 cards of these, and 4 copies of this in the deck, so odds of you calling him off of him isn't that big. And on top of that, you have to have the counterblast for it anyway. But if you do get crit and this happens, it's just like you're going to get vengeance for that crit. That's pretty much about it. But that being said, he fits the theme of all the grade 3s that is going in there. He counts towards Bastion's restand. And on top of that, he has another ability that synergizes with all the other grade 3s. The other reason why it's important that the card you called from hand should be a grade 3 is because when this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more grade 3s, this unit gets power plus 5k until end of turn. Now, I've seen a lot of cards say end of battle, but the fact that he says end of turn means that you attack with him once, he's a 20k beater because he's getting plus 2 from Bastion and then plus 5 from himself. So it's already 20k. Then you use Bastion's ability, you drive check a grade 3, you then restand him, he gets 10k. Now he's 30k, but then he swings again, now he's 35k. And that's all without a Persona ride. So, real magic numbers right off the bat. Awesome card, definite staple for Bastion. Keep him in there at 4, no matter what. And he gets you draw power. I mean, what else can you ask for? So next up, we have Knight of War Damaged Facade. And continuous, he has resist, which is really nice. So he can't be picked on, he can't be taken by a prison, he can't be picked on by Eugene, he can't be chosen by Farina, and other cards that say retire a card. So he's sticking on that field. Then he applies pressure because auto, rearguard circle, when this unit attacks, hits, countercharge 1, soul charge 1. So the question your opponent needs to ask, do I really want to guard this card, or do I want to guard the other card? They have to look at how much damage is coming their way. They also have to think, how many resources do they want to give you? You're already counterblasting 2 just for Alden. And soul blasting for Alden. And there's other cards like the dragon here who uses soul blast. And we have an order that's counterblast 2. We have her that's counterblast 1, soul blast 1. So we have a lot of cards using our resources just really, really rampantly, but he keeps them in check. Alright, so moving on, we're going to go to Knight of Broad Axe Reflute. It's also a grade 3, but his ability is put this unit into your soul, choose one of your grade 3 rear guards, and it gets power plus 10k until end of turn. So not only does he give us power, he gives us soul. And that's what we want him for. We want him for that soul because Alden soul blasts, she soul blasts, the dragon here soul blasts. So, and the dragon soul blasts too. So you want that soul, and that's what Refluke is for. It's nice that he gives you that extra 10k power, but honestly, filling up that soul just makes him that much sweeter. You probably don't want to put him on the field to get retired either. You want to keep that in mind. You want to put him on the field, get him into soul as soon as you play him. So kind of hold on to him until you're ready to use him. Up next, we have Mystic Amethyst Kokabeel. And continuous Guardian Circle. If your Vanguard is Apex Ruler Bastion, this unit gets shield plus 5k for every 2 grade 3 units that you have. So that includes this unit, so it includes anything in Guardian Circle, that includes all of your rear guards. So let's say you have a field of 6 grade 3s, which is very possible. You probably even put some boosters down thanks to the dragon. We're going to get to him in a second, that's why. But say you have 6 grade 3s. You drop her down. You already have 15k shield. But say you need way more than that, like 40k shield or something like that. Say you have two copies of her and you have 6 grade 3s. Drop another one of her. That is 40k shield in 2 cards, 20 each, because there will be both of the grade 3s in the Guardian Circle, then each full column, so 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4, 4 times 5 is 20, so 20k shield right there per card. And then the fact that she gets that shield, and if you drop another Kokobeel, that Kokobeel gets that shield. That's why it's 40. So very interesting effects coming from a grade 3. Really nice shield protection. The only thing that makes her unfortunate is that if you're going up against a retiring clan or a prison clan, anything like that, or nations, I'm sorry, that's still going to take a while for me to get used to. But if you're going up against a nation that retires frequently or just gets rid of that, or they're just going to slam into your rear guards before they hit your Vanguard, you know, she gets a little weaker as she goes along, but she is still a 5k shield, and no matter what, because of Bastion and herself. So she does increase the shield power a little bit. And if you know you're not getting that much shield power, you can just pop her down in the back row with the dragon and just let her be a booster. So she's pretty good. You know, if you're not getting retired that often, she's huge shield. If you are getting retired, she has some other backup uses. So moving along to 3 copies of Darkstrain Dragon. So he's kind of costly. All he does is give your stuff boost. I really like him. I see a lot of people running him at 2 instead of 3. I did run him at 4, but I played the deck around, with some tweaks. I like him at 3. I like seeing him almost every game, to be honest, because I like having those 30k columns or higher, just because he's 15, he's boosting a grade 3 who's also 15, and you got 30k columns right there, right off the bat. He doesn't need anything more than the fact that you have to have 3 or more grade 3s. That's all you need. So Soul Blast 2, they all get boost. Just make sure you don't pay that cost until your board is full. But pretty simple, self-explanatory, and that's why I keep on saying, you know, you're going to have some in the back row, the grade 3s in the back row for his 2k, and for her ability, you will have those in the back row just because Darkstrain Dragon just puts them there. Alright, so up next we have 2 copies of Great Snake Witch Solaria. So she's really nice. When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and draw a card. So when you discard her, you pay that cost, she replaces herself. Really nice effect, especially since A, your ride chain discards to ride, and on top of that, Bastion discards to restand. So you're going to discard throughout the game, might as well make it hurt. Very simple. And then moving on, the Hour of Holy Judgment cometh. I run this at 2 copies, primarily because I want Alden to be my draw power, but he said, or this order says, counterblast 2, draw 2 cards, and choose one of your units, and gets 5k until end of turn. So the reason why I run this at 2 instead of 3 or 4 is because I'd rather run Alden as my draw power, because he gives me a body on the field and then another body on the field. So I'm getting my draw power from Alden, but this here is some backup draw power, so I don't have to run draw triggers. And there is a reason I don't want to run draw triggers, and that's moving on to our trigger lineup. So you'll see we have the over trigger, whose extra ability is, till end of turn, also perform drive checks for the battles of your rear guards. And in this deck, all of my rear guards are grade 3. So let's say, for some unknown reason, I know this is on the top of my deck, and I attack with Bastion first. It's never going to happen with my build, but there are builds that take Hexa Orb support and just look at the top of the deck and then just like leave triggers or grade 3s there. But with this over trigger, you know, you can attack with Bastion, you know, trigger, drive check, and then drive check with the other units, and then once you get a grade 3, Bastion doesn't say Bastion's drive check has to reveal a grade 3, he just says anything has to reveal a grade 3. So you drive check a grade 3, you restand something, and then you attack again. So you Bastion gets you 2, the other one gets you 2. If you get a grade 3, you get 2 more, and then you get 2 more after that. Most likely you're actually just getting 6, because you're going to swing with a grade 3, not get that, and then you're going to swing with Bastion, get the over trigger, swing with the other grade 3, get a grade 3, then swing with the other grade 3 that you restood, getting 6. So that's still 6 drive checks. If you have draws, you're decking out. I'm just throwing that out there right now. That is why I want my draw power in my cards, but I don't want to overdo it, because there is a lot of draw power just from that order and Alden alone, so draws aren't in this lineup. So what we got is 8 crits, 3 fronts, and 4 heals. So tweak this as you like. This is where I like it right now. I like getting that extra damage in so that the opponent feels pressured from all the extra attacks coming in. But at the same time, as they're getting defensives, you see that you want that front just to get over those defensives. And of course, 4 heals, standard, because I want to heal. That's pretty much about it. Your trigger lineup can be however you want it, but that's where we go from there. So, this has been Bastion. I'm Vanguard Ace, and we'll see you on the deck test.